Hi, so we are going to continue with our building of the LNS because what we're going to do is we're going to create we'll add some parts on. So in other words, create a LAC, which is what is known as a layer 2 tunneling protocol access concentrator. And we're going to also create our CPE. And given that we've got the free radius available now, we should be able to see, once we've done that, we'll have a very basic L2TP configuration up and running. Not after this lesson. This lesson is going to concentrate on the prerequisites. So let's get on and do the lesson. So the first thing I have to warn you about, if you're going to try and do this on a live system in a live environment, what we're about to do is a prerequisite for the L2TP side of things. In other words, the dynamic profiles that we're going to have to create. This is going to require a reboot. It's an automated reboot. There is nothing we can do about it. You don't have to reboot, but obviously what's going to happen is the system will not function correctly as you want it to. Okay, now it does give you this warning as well when you do the commit. So it will commit the commands, but they will not function correctly without a reboot of the system. So let's go ahead and see what we need to do. So we'll go into edit mode, and the first thing we'll look at, as always, is, and we haven't really done anything from the last lesson, so but we'll have a quick look at our configuration. I don't know why I did set there. Display set. Okay, so what we need to do is, and there are a couple of bits and pieces that are still in there that shouldn't be, but we've got the chassis FPC, but I'll show you why we need that anyway. So the first thing is, let's set our system. So we set system, and we have to do our dynamic profile options, and we have to set our versioning. Okay, so we have to do this. We also have to do our subscriber management. We have to enable that. So we do set system services, subscriber management, enable. So we're going to enable that. As it says there, we're enabling subscriber management features. Okay, so we're going to enable that. We're also going to configure our database to be a max size because the current database size or the default is not going to be big enough if you're going to have a large amount of subscribers. It may be okay if you've got a small network or small amount of subscribers, but certainly not enough for a larger amount. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to do set system, set system and its configuration. I completely lost my mind there. Max. So we're going to go for max DB size, and we're going to go for 314572800. Okay, and we also need to set our processes, our SMG services. So we do set system processes SMG service. And we need to do our enhance IP, which is set chassis, and we'll do network services, enhanced IP. Okay, that's the first section done. Now, what we've got to do with the service interface, so the SI interface, is it has to be the same, it has to be labeled the same as you've got that your LAC is coming in on. Okay, so by that, what I mean is if your LAC is connected to, for example, GE, so on my system as it's a virtual, it'd be a GE-001. The SI would be SI-001. Now, if you're not sure of where it is, what you can do is you can have a look at your FPC and your PIC by doing show chassis hardware. So if I do a run show chassis hardware, and we have a look. So because mine's obviously virtual, my FPC is there, my PIC is there. So it's 0, 0, and then my interface. So it'd be SI 0, 0. Yours would obviously be different if it's a live system. If it's virtual, it's likely to be very similar. So we're going to do that now. So we're going to do set chassis PIC 0, sorry, wrong way round, FPC 0, PIC 0, and we're going to do tunnel services. And now I'm only putting a bandwidth of 1 gig because this is a virtual system and I only have 1 gig ports. If you've got 10 gig ports, you might want to make usage of the whole 10 gig, which is what I would recommend. So in here you'd put 10G, but I can only put 1G. Okay, so that's the bandwidth. Then we can come up, same command of PIC 0 because it's going to be the same interface. And this time we're going to do our inline services, and that has to be the same, the bandwidth. Again, if you've got 10G, it'll be 10G. In this case, in my case, it's 1G. And then we want the max queues per interface. Now, given that we have 8 as a default, of which 4 are live, but there are 4 spare, then we'll just keep it at 8. You can set it to what you need it to be under Juniper recommendations, but normally you wouldn't want more than 8 anyway. Okay, so if we do a commit check now on these mandatory requirements for L2TP, so let's do a commit check, and you will notice that we get a warning here. Chassis configuration for subscriber management has changed. The system reboot is mandatory. And it tells you reboot it now, because if you continue without a reboot, it will result in unexpected system behavior. As I said, it's not going to probably behave as you want it to or you expect it to. That does not mean it won't commit. Let me show you. So again, it gives me the warning. But now if we do a run, show, configuration, display, set, and we have a look, we'll notice that it's all in there. Look, we've got our database, that's in there, the maximum size. We've got our dynamic profile here, versioning. We've got our subscriber management enable, our SMG service, our FPCs. Okay, so the bandwidths of 1G, 1G, yours be 10G probably if you've got 10 gig links, and the max queues and the enhanced IP. Okay, so this is everything that we've asked it to do. So what we do is we can now do a request system reboot. Now, it takes about 15 minutes for one of these to reboot in a virtual environment, but that's the prerequisites. So what we're going to deal with next in the next lesson is we're going to deal with the variables that are required for the SI interface, for the service interface. Okay, so if you have any questions about this lesson, just as always, just message me. Okay, thank you.